In three, two, one. What's going on, folks? Your guy Tommy Gahan, TG here for Ice Cold Sports, America's Sports Show. Good to be back with you. A little solo podding today, hanging out here in good old Castle Pines, Colorado. Getting ready for Christmas, coming up this Sunday, as you probably well know. Good being back home, seeing the family, all that crap. Saw my friends over the weekend. I'll see them again, not this weekend, but next weekend. Gotta spend this weekend with the fam. Let's just jump right into it. Yesterday, and this last couple days has been some of the most incredible days of sports I've seen in a long time. I think you probably agree out there as well. For those who have been, I don't know, living underneath a rock or something. So let's start on Saturday 11 a.m. Uh, I'm hanging out with friends. I'm in a bar, and I'm watching the Vikings Colts game. And I see the Colts go up big on the Vikings, and I'm loving every second of it. As you probably well know, I'm a Bears fan, and as a Bears fan, I hate the Packers, but I also hate the Vikings. It's just the natural progression of things. They're in division rivals, you know, whatever. And I'm soaking it up. I'm happy, whatever. But then next thing you know, you're following along, you know, touchdown. We had this guy standing in front of the TV acting like a kind of like a dick. That wasn't very fun. But despite that, touchdown. They were down 33 to nothing at the half. 33. They came back, tied up the end of regulation, 36-36, kick a field goal in overtime to make it 39-36 final. The biggest comeback in the history of the National Football League ever over 100 years. It's never been done before. The before this it was Frank Reich and the Bills. Ironically, Frank Reich used to be the head coach of the Colts before he got canned back when he was a quarterback with the Bills. He led them in the playoffs, I believe, against the Oilers to a comeback. I believe it was 30 points. This was 33. This was the biggest comeback in the history of the National Football League. It was incredible. It was incredible. So, a lot has been said about Kirk Cousins, and admittedly, I've been part of that discussion on Kirk Cousins being, a fraud or soft or not as good as some people try to make him out to be. Shout out Noah. Uh, Listen, does this game mean that I think all of our preconceived notions on Kirk Cousins is wrong? No, I don't. Um, they shouldn't have been down 33 to nothing in the first place against the 4-8-1 Indianapolis Colts. I think that's not too crazy of a thing to say. Okay? Having said that, it does give him a little bit more legitimacy in my eyes. Now, this could be a flash in the pan. I have no doubt the season will end poorly in a wild card or divisional round playoff loss. Probably divisional round playoff loss. Maybe a wild card. We'll see. But it's hey, credit to Kirk. I've talked a lot of mad trash about the man over the years. He pulled it out yesterday. Although the refs kind of screwed over Matt Ryan. 4th and 1, chance to seal the game, to ice it. Matty Ice dives over. It looks like on replay for sure he had it. The refs don't call it. They say he didn't get it. That would have ended the game. Instead, Kirk gets another chance, and we go to overtime, and everything happens. So that needs to be brought into account. Still, whatever. Vikings, nice comeback, whatever. Then later that day, we had the Bills winning on a last-second kick, and then the Browns beat the Ravens. But that was not really much of a big thing because the Ravens don't even have Lamar Jackson right now. Going into Sunday morning, I turn on the game, 8 a.m. in America. 8 a.m. World Cup final. Early. I have never been the biggest soccer fan in my life. I like soccer. I'll watch some soccer. I don't hate soccer, especially compared to some people in American sports media that loves to really shit talk soccer. And I'll do some of that myself. But I legitimately like soccer in a lot of ways. for a lot of things. Do I think it's as good as American football? No. But whatever. World Cup final. France, Argentina. I watch Argentina go up 2-0. And, it seems it's Messi. He's doing it. France denied a second straight title. And then in the blink of an eye, Mbappe becomes Himbappe. My goodness. On top of the penalty kick to make it uh, 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 2-1. He then gets a goal within like a minute or two later to make it 2-2. Incredible. Some incredible defense in between there with the goalkeepers. Goes to extra time and or yeah. Then Argentina, they score barely. French player was in the goal trying to knock it out, barely got past the line. Crazy stuff there. And then penalty kick, Mbappe, again, kabam. It's happening. It's happening. It's 3-3, going crazy. France has a chance to win it. Saved by the Argentina, barely leg save by the Argentina goalkeeper. It's getting intense. Goes to penalty kicks. France misses a couple. Argentina, ice in their veins. It's over. Argentina wins the World Cup. Messi, probably the GOAT. I mean, Ronaldo in recent times has stunk. He's really dropped some stinkers, some stink bombs, and as of late, he can't even keep on with a Premier League club. So he's done. While Messi is still the GOAT. Messi is the GOAT. I think that's fair to say. Uh, at the same time, Mbappe, keep your head up. Keep your damn head up. That man is otherworldly as well. That's got to be 1 and 2. That's got to be 1 and 2. Messi, Mbappe. Although if I'm Messi, this is probably my last ever World Cup. We've seen it before. We've seen great sports figures go for it again. They have the chance to walk off into the sunset, and they don't take it. They keep going, and it doesn't work out well, even for the GOATs, even for the greatest. Michael Jordan had a chance to do that after that last title with the Bulls. He comes back with the Wizards, and he plays okay. He plays well, but, it didn't help his legacy at all. Tom Brady goes to the Bucks. I get it was only his first year with the Bucks, but still, he wins a Super Bowl. He officially has won more Super Bowls than any franchise. He is a franchise of his own. 7 Super Bowl wins. Insanity. But he instead decides to come back, and we've seen how that goes. And now it looks like he's probably going to retire at the end of this year anyway, after everything that happened with his wife and stuff like that. If you're Messi, I'm not saying quit soccer altogether, but I would not play in that next World Cup, which, by the way, will be in the United States. Lots of controversy going around this World Cup in Qatar. We get to the land of the free, home of the brave. I get that Canada and Mexico are going to be hosting some games too in that tournament, but it's mostly going to be the good old US of A, which, good. That's a good thing. It's a very good thing. If you want to stop despots and, dictatorships and things like that from hosting these tournaments, or, less developed countries spending way too much money to get these sports events, you have to give it to places that have the existing infrastructure, not, you don't just trust that less developed places are going to get that infrastructure, because that can just mess them up completely. And that's not trying to be American centric or trying to be ignorant. That's trying to say it's a bit selfish to take away, to make some of these countries basically build up entire new stadiums. And the countries that end up doing that, either they're manipulating their citizens, or they're, dictatorships, or they're just not using their money correctly. A lot of times, at least in the United States, you got pre-built stadiums. End my rant right there. That's just kind of an interesting sports management, inside the look of a sports management major right there. But that'll be exciting. USA at least they won't have to qualify for the next one, because if you are hosting World Cup, you don't have to qualify for the World Cup, so that's pretty cool. No sweating that out. But if Messi, no more, bro. Go the Peyton Manning route. You did it. You got it done. Walk off into the sunset. I think that's the best way to go about it, honestly. Truly. So yesterday after that, we had a couple of crazy games. We had the Jacksonville Jaguars beat the Cowboys. It looked like T Law had lost it. He didn't slide properly. He gave up a fumble. But then Dak, uh, was it all? I mean, the ball bounced off a player and got picked. I mean, I'm not saying Dak's completely absolved of blame, but it wasn't really on Dak, that pick six. But still, Jags win. They were 4.5 point underdogs. Uh, people, that was surprising to me that it was. It wasn't really that surprising actually because they won by a lot the week before, but it's still, people were surprised by that with how good the Cowboys have been. But yeah, T Law is getting into his own. T Law and this Jaguars team, if they can build on this going into next year, watch out. Watch out. They could be trouble. I like Doug Peterson. He is a Super Bowl winning coach for a reason. I like the Jaguars going forward. I think that's important to say. Also, Texans, Chiefs. If there is a worse team that has been in more close games than the Texans against good teams, I'd like to know because Lovie Smith has those guys playing. He gets those guys playing. They are 12-1 now. They ain't good. They ain't good at all. They're very bad. But it's been an incredible. I mean, they've done some really cool things. They've played some really close games against some really good teams, including taking the Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes to overtime as 14.5 point underdogs. What? 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 Now they blew it. And that's important to say. They blew it. But I would say, imagine for a second if they had a quarterback there in Houston. Imagine that. And I'm not talking about Deshaun either, because Deshaun's not looked so hot this year either. But whatever you're gonna say, many things to be said about that situation. Uh, yeah, but more importantly than those two, there was another game. Patriots, Raiders. Let's fast forward to the ending. Raiders down by 7. Tossed to the end zone by Derek Carr. I'll be honest. Feet were out. One foot was probably out. Foot down, foot out. Probably shouldn't have been a touchdown. But what are you going to do about that? Officiating is officiating. But somehow that gets overlooked because I don't know what to say. Patriots just need to let it go to overtime. That's it. Mac Jones passes it. He gets some laterals going. Jacoby Myers gets it. Jacoby Myers is on my fantasy team. He lost me points on this play. He throws it backwards into the hands of the Raiders. He breaks a tackle. He's in. He's gone. He's done. Touchdown Raiders. Raiders win. Incredible. Josh McDaniels against his former team. Crazy shit. Crazy shit. Is the Patriots, all the things we think of the Patriots, dead and gone and buried now in the wake of the loss of Mr. Thomas Edward Patrick Brady? I think so. I don't think Mac Jones isn't a bad quarterback. Is he their quarterback in the future? Probably not, if I were to make a wild guess. But, man, Mac Jones. But not Mac Jones at all, really. It was Jacoby Myers. He throws that ball backwards. What are you doing? What are you doing? You just need to get to overtime. You just make these dumb, stupid mistakes. Belichick usually doesn't make those mistakes. Usually, if you make that mistake on a Belichick team, you're out the door the next day. Guess not. Whole new world out there. Finally, from yesterday, Giants versus the Washington Commanders. Exciting game. Very exciting game. Comes down to the very end. Toss to the end zone from Mr. Taylor Heineke. So here's the question, Matt. Was that PI? Had him hands around him. And then, even though he had his hands around him, he was able to lift up. He gave his arms out to try to catch it, and then he put his arm around and knocked the ball away. So it's one of those things where, yeah, it was definitely PI, but the motion that broke up the pass kind of wasn't. It should have been called. I don't get me wrong. It should have been called. But it's an interesting thing to put out there because people will say, well, there's a good call, no call, and a bad no call. Would you call that a good no call? Just because he had his arms around him, and that was ridiculous. It should have been a call, no matter what, if you think it's a good call, no call, or a bad no call. But because it did not make a direct influence on what happened with that ball being caught, do you see my brain going in a billion places right here? Just super genius mode. I mean, what are you going to do? But yeah, all that stuff. Any case, folks, thank you all for watching and or listening. Quick podcast tonight. Very quick podcast. My laptop's almost out of battery. I need to plug it in. Just wanted to give you guys a little update. Talk a little sports with you guys. Talk a little sports. Love talking sports. Also, Jackson State lost in the HBCU championship, the Celebration Bowl. Whatever. What are you gonna do? What are you going to do? Travis Hunter has entered the transfer portal. Will he come to Colorado? I don't know. He specifically said he's waiting. He's not automatically going to Colorado. He's not automatically not going to Colorado. It's all up in the air a little bit. Shedeur Sanders isn't going to Colorado, though. Deion Sanders is him. He's coming. So just be looking out for that. I think that's important to say. Uh, Nothing else really, to be quite frank with you. We're going to give you a little update. We're going to give you, coming up is going to be our playoff preview. We're going to have the boys in on it pretty soon. Have more of a Christmas edition coming up probably later in the week. This is just giving you a little sports, a little taste to whet the appetite of the good people out there. So I'll just say that. In any case, folks, follow us on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok at IceColdSPRTS. Go to icecoldsports.com. Ice Cold Sports on Apple Podcasts and YouTube and wherever you get your podcasts. My socials at Tommy S. Gahan. Gahan at Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, all those great things. Subscribe, comment, subscribe on all those platforms, especially YouTube and Apple Podcasts. Leave a review, 5 stars, and write something underneath, and we may read it on the podcast. All that crap. Comment below to give us more ideas on YouTube. You can also comment on a podcast, whatever. In any case, folks, I'm Tom again, and this has been Ice. See the ice right there? Icy? Little ice in my Diet Coke. Cold. My Diet Coke is very cold. Sports. See you guys.